Hello, everybody. My name is Keith, and welcome to my 2025 WWE Wrestling Awards. Yes, these are my awards. They are put together by me, thought about by me, and executed by me. Now, if you don't like these awards, that's okay. We don't have to put each other in headlocks. We have something for you. It's called the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. But these are my thoughts on the 2025 Wrestling Awards, because I think at the end of the year, it's a time for reflection as we're getting ready to kick off the new year and the big Monday Night Raw. I thought this would be a great time to look back on the year that was. So the first award in the Wrestling Awards is the disappointment of the year. Let's get the negative stuff out first. Now, in regards to the disappointment of the year, I've heard a lot of people talking about the John Cena retirement tour and how that didn't exactly go well in his last match with Gunter. And I hear that, but I'm going to go a little different. There's something that was a big disappointment to me that a lot of people aren't talking about, and I'm not really sure why, so we'll talk about it here. It's the fact that for the first time in years, neither of the Royal Rumble winners were in a main event at WrestleMania. So Jey Uso, Charlotte Flair, they are not disappointments. They're fantastic performers, but you would think at least one of them would have been in the main event of WrestleMania this past year, one of the two nights. That, of course, did not happen. So that was somewhat disappointing in the sense of there's so much anticipation around the Royal Rumble. And I know the Royal Rumble is a major pay-per-view for a lot of people. And we go through, the emotional roller coaster of these two huge matches. And then we get our winners. And I know that Jey Uso winning was a surprise and Charlotte Flair maybe not as much, but you would have thought that one of them would have been in the main event. Now, hindsight being what it is, I understand that Jey Uso and Gunter, Nora, Tiffany Stratton, and Charlotte Flair were generating enough excitement to get them to the main event of WrestleMania. But it was interesting. I found nobody's really talking about that, and that's something that stood out to me, that neither one of them were in the main event for WrestleMania. So let's start there, and let's get the disappointment of the year off. Now, of course, we could talk about the Cena thing, but I think that's been talked about to death, so I'm ready to move on from that. But the next award in the Wrestling Awards this year is the line of the year. Now, there are a lot of great lines that were thrown out by wrestlers all year, and great lines by Paul Heyman and lots of different people. But my favorite line of the year actually didn't come from a wrestler. It comes from a guy that I bump into at the grocery store. He lives in the neighborhood. His name is Chris. Don't call him Christopher. Only his mom can do that. But his name is Chris, and his line of the year was simply, "Who is Travis Scott and why should I care?" Now, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Of course, Travis Scott, recording artist, very popular. I get that. So let's dispel with the "who is Travis Scott" part. Let's focus more on the "why should I care" part. And Chris is right. This whole aspect of the whole Cena retirement tour was a complete fail. And you would think the main event of WrestleMania, with everything that happened at Elimination Chamber, we were expecting to see The Rock. We didn't get The Rock. We got Travis Scott, who respectfully all of like 120 pounds. So it was kind of weird when he came in trying to challenge Cody Rhodes, and him being the one that helped cost Cody his title. Wasn't the best writing of the year for WWE. And yes, it was very disappointing and not the greatest main events. And I get that. But it does come back to that simple line of who was Travis Scott and why should I care? We're still asking ourselves that question. There's a bit of yolk on the face of WWE, and that's okay. I mean, you can't get it right all the time. And this is one of those times where they just didn't get it right. But it's one of those lines that Chris dropped in April, and here we are in January, and I'm still chuckling over it because I'm still thinking to myself, why should we have cared? All right, so that kind of concludes the negativity part of this program. Let's get into some fun stuff. Male Wrestler of the Year. So there are a lot of great male wrestlers. I mean, we've got Dominic Mysterio, whose star is on the rise. We've got our champions at the time of recording this, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. We've got so many incredible superstars. My pick, though, for Male Wrestler of the Year, I'm going with Drew McIntyre. Second year in a row, I'm going with Drew. I didn't do this last year, but I talked about it with my friends. And if I had filmed it last year, it would have been Drew. I am a big Drew McIntyre fan just because I see the work. I think that he's an incredible performer. WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. Good luck finding somebody who is more entertaining than the Scottish Warrior. I mean, the man is ridiculous. Okay, first of all, yes, the physique and he's jacked and all that stuff, comes out with the sword, but it's just the little things he does. It's like the mic work that he does. We see him doing social media in the middle of his matches. He's very, very entertaining and such a great heel. Of course, he was a face years ago. I don't necessarily think it worked for him as well as being a heel. Is he my heel of the year? Stay tuned. We're going to get to that in a few moments, but tons and tons of respect for Drew McIntyre. I think he is an incredible superstar, an incredible performer, and again, male superstar of the year. I think he's absolutely fantastic. We're not going to get into female superstar of the year just yet. Let's go over to celebrity of the year. Now, every single event, whether it's a Raw, a SmackDown, a PLE, we're going to the crowd and we're seeing celebrity faces and this person's in the crowd and this person's in the crowd. And it's great. I understand. WWE is an extremely popular product. People want to be there and check it out. I'm totally cool with that. But we've seen Travis Scott with, that it doesn't always work, but sometimes it works extremely well. And my celebrity of the year, I Show Speed. Now, of course, I Show Speed has his 40 billion, gazillion, jillion followers on all the multiple platforms, and that's great for WWE when he shows up. And of course, this was him showing up at WrestleMania 40. But it was really, of course, what he did this past year, showing up at the Royal Rumble. Of course, he was a late entry into the Rumble, comes down, has an elimination, by the way, with Braun Breaker, and then he starts to celebrate, and don't be celebrating for too long, because the next thing you know, he took probably the most vicious spear from Braun Breaker we have ever seen before. It was incredible. Yes, check on Speed. Let's make sure he's okay. It's one of these things where he's somebody who's a fan and who has done the work and understands the business. And one of the great things too, and I don't think this got enough credit, after the event, he's got this interview with the incredible Kathy Kelly, and she asks him the question. She says, you've taken the spear from Braun Breaker, you've taken the RKO, which one hurt more? To which he turns to her and says, so you're basically asking me, did it hurt or did it hurt? It's hilarious. Did it hurt or did it hurt? It all hurts. And he's out there. He's got the crutches. He's got the neck brace. Absolutely, hilarious. I sincerely hope he's back at this year's Royal Rumble. He is a celebrity that absolutely understands the assignment, and I love seeing people like him come into WWE who aren't just to promote something and just to hang out for a little bit, but somebody who actually put in the time to understand the craft. We've seen he's got his show where he's learning how to do different sports, wrestling being one of them. We've seen this with celebrities like Bad Bunny who've been in WWE before. So hats off to I Show Speed, by far my pick for celebrity of the year. We're just getting started here. Let's go on to the next one. Most underrated superstar of the year. This one might be a little debatable. And again, jump into the comments. Let me know what you think about this. My pick for underrated superstar of the year, I'm going with Chelsea Green. I think everybody has figured out by now, Chelsea Green is an incredible performer in the ring. She is phenomenal on the mic. Her crowd engagement is great, to say nothing of the fact of all the awesome charity stuff she does off the screen. But I think she's incredible. I say she's underrated because the US title, she has made it fantastic, but respectfully, we don't talk a lot about the US women's title. I would love to see her competing for one of the major women's title matches. Yes, I'm looking at you, Jade Cargill. Yes, I'm looking at you, Stephanie Vacour. I would love to see Chelsea Green in a program with one of them. I think she's main event material. I think she's extremely entertaining, and she, I think, is somewhat under the radar, if you can say that. But I think she's absolutely incredible. Another honorable mention, I would say, Maxine Dupree. Maxine Dupree was getting, there's that segment, of course, where I won't even call them fans, but people were yelling horrible things at her. And I think just her level of work and commitment to the craft is obviously showing, and congrats to her on probably being the comeback superstar of the year. So I didn't even put this in the deck, but we're going to add one right now. Maxine Dupree, comeback superstar of the year, and congratulations to you. Of course, if you want to see more content like this, and I hope you do, feel free to subscribe, like this, share this. Let's get the word out. I have liked wrestling all of my life, and I've had the pleasure of being accredited for many WWE events, including WrestleMania. And I want to be able to bring more content to you. So let's start the dialogue going, and let me know what you'd like to see. Moving on to our next award, we got the heel of the year. Now, of course, the heel of the year, aka the bad, the villain of the year, the person that you love to boo at, the person maybe sometimes you just want to boo at. And to be perfectly honest with you, as I was putting this together for a long time, I was thinking I had the guy that I wanted to go with. And the guy that I wanted to go with was Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio, of course, winning the Intercontinental Championship, getting booed most of the time. He picks up the microphone, just doing all these evil, despicable things. It looked like Dom was going to be the guy. But then I realized he's not the guy. I don't want the guy. I want the man. My heel of the year is Becky Lynch. Let me tell you, Becky Lynch, to me, checks off all the boxes on what a great heel should be, and I think she's been incredible. Her mic work is ridiculous, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But from things like getting in CM Punk's face and slapping him, knowing that he can't do anything about it, knowing that we're hoping and praying that, AJ Lee or somebody comes to defend him and gets in, is just typical heel behavior, because you want the heel to get what's coming to them. And she was so incredible in that promo with CM Punk. But then also the stuff that she's been doing lately with Maxine Dupree. Again, congratulations, just got married. And of course, Becky Lynch, taking a page from Drew McIntyre's book, hit social media and it's like, oh, I don't think your marriage is going to last, Moody Maxine, and all this stuff. She's hilarious. But she's also just very good at being bad. And for such a long time, she was such a fan favorite, and we didn't know that she had it in her. But she's so incredibly talented, not just in the ring. She's incredible in the ring, but her talent in terms of being able to convince us that she's an incredible heel, I think she's fantastic. It's not just me saying it. Sports Illustrated says it. Bleacher Report says it. Auto Life magazine says it. Tons of people say it. So right off the bat, got to say congratulations to Becky Lynch, your 2025 Heel of the Year. We are going to go next into Crowd of the Year. And listen, let's not waste a lot of time on this. It's not even close. France. Before the sun sets on me, I want to see a WWE event in France. This crowd is like any other. The amount of energy that they bring, and this is 2 years in a row now we've seen this, where they are cheering so loud that the arena is shaking. It is ridiculous. The level of passion that they bring to an audience, to a WWE event, it's crazy. I absolutely love it. You see it, and you see crowds in North America and in different parts of the world that are decent, but there's nothing like France. AJ Styles, who I've got here on the screen, comes out and they are chanting for him for like a solid 5 minutes straight. It's ridiculous. And they're doing this incredible soccer chant, and I love it. Vraiment, vraiment, vraiment phénomène, na 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 na. It's like, I want to be there. France, will you have me? I loved it. Absolutely incredible. Without a shadow of a doubt, Crowd of the Year, we're going France. They had a couple of events there. Every single one of them. I don't care if it was the Clash in Paris or the Monday Night Raw. You all get my Crowd of the Year award. You guys were incredible. I need to go to France apparently to see a WWE event. Next up, we are going to do the Female Wrestler of the Year. Again, a lot of great nominees here. Liv Morgan's back, which is exciting. Rhea Ripley is phenomenal. We've got upstarts like Roxanne Perez that are fantastic. So many great performers, to say nothing of people like Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax. The female division is absolutely stacked. But my pick for Female Wrestler of the Year, and quite frankly, my pick for maybe Wrestler of the Year, I am absolutely going to have to go with the genius of the sky, Io Sky. I think she is amazing. If I was to list the top 5 matches of the year, she's probably in 3 to 4 of them. and that's not an oversell. Io Sky is incredible. As soon as she comes out, you know you are in for some high flying, incredible action. And this is probably one of the easiest picks on the awards for this program. Female wrestler of the year, without a shadow of a doubt. Congratulations, Io Sky, on a remarkable 2025. Moving on, I'm going to go to Swerve of the year. Now, when I think of swerves, I think of things we didn't see coming. Now, the easy pick, and on all honesty, the honest pick is the John Cena heel turn. I mean, nobody saw that coming. The John Cena turning heel was something that people thought they might see, and then we kind of gave up on it because it would have happened earlier on in the career, but we didn't see that coming. But that's the easy pick. I'm going to go with something else, something that I think deserves a lot of credit. And for me, the Swerve of the year, I'm going Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, excuse me. Seth Rollins had everybody convinced that he had an injury, that there was something going on with his knee. He was going to be out for a while. And that's not new to wrestling. We've seen lots of times where wrestlers are faking an injury, but he took us to the next level. He's showing up at public events with this brace on. He's showing up on podcasts with this brace on. Everybody thinks that there's something wrong with him. So when he showed up at SummerSlam with the brace on, everybody just thought, okay, well, maybe he's just there to promote. But then when it became clear that he wasn't just there to promote and he was there to actually cash in his money in the bank, and the next thing you know, we're looking at new champion. Congratulations to Seth Rollins, because my basement SummerSlam party exploded. The stadiums around the world, the stadium that it was taking place at exploded. Parties around the world exploded. Everybody was losing their mind and going crazy because nobody saw it coming. It was absolutely brilliant. So yes, 100%. John Cena turning heel, incredible. Nobody saw that coming. It didn't really pan out the way that we thought it would, but even as we get to the night that he turned heel, it was incredible. But this Swerve of the year was fantastic. And in an internet world where it's hard to keep a secret, it just is. Congrats to the WWE and especially Seth Rollins for pulling this off. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the PLE of the year. Now, you're going to think I'm a little biased in this, and I'm not, because I was there. But the PLE of the year for me, the Elimination Chamber. I think Elimination Chamber was an incredible, incredible event taking place in Toronto, of course, at the Rogers Center. And this was fantastic. Now you're going to say, okay, listen, Keith, we understand just because you ended up on, WWE Unreal, that's me in the bottom corner, shaved head there. No, that's not Denzel Washington. That's me. I understand you're thinking, okay, Keith, because you were there, you want to make a big deal of it. No, that's not even it. I just think this was an incredible PLE. Let's talk about it, shall we? It starts off with the women's Elimination Chamber match, and we all think that Jade Cargill storming the ring to come after Liv Morgan, but wait, no, she's coming after Naomi and absolutely obliterates her. Then from there, we've got Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus in this incredible women's tag team match, which was fantastic. We've got two Canadians in Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, former best friends, now bitter enemies, going at it. And then, of course, the heel turn that nobody saw coming when John Cena turned on Cody Rhodes. And this is probably the most iconic picture of WWE for 2025. So from head to toe, I say that this is by far the best PLE of the year. What do you guys think? I just thought it was incredible, and I thought WWE pulled off an absolutely amazing show. Match of the year, and you know what? This is going to be our final award of the night. We've got the Hall of Famer, the superstars, whoever big wigs you would have come to present it. Oh, they're not available. Okay, I'll present it. The match of the year, and I got to tell you, initially and for the longest time, my match of the year was going to be the triple threat between Bianca Belair, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley. That was going to be my match of the year. I think it was incredible. I think it was great theater. I think it could have been the main event, quite frankly, of either night. I think it was the best match of WrestleMania. But the match that I'm giving my match of the year to is, there's of course, Io Sky winning the title. My match of the year for 2025 is going to go to AJ Styles and John Cena at Crown Jewel in Australia. This was phenomenal. I've heard it said before, and I'll reiterate it. This was a love letter to wrestling. This was a match that was so interesting to me because there was no like face-to-face promotion. There was no jumping each other or fighting each other. It was like the match was announced. They got in the ring. They handled their business. And this was by far one of the most beautiful executed matches that I've seen. I thought it was incredible. And the highlight, the absolute highlight of the John Cena farewell tour. This was two Hall of Famers, two incredible superstars, two incredible ambassadors to the company putting it out on the line. Absolutely loved it. My pick for match of the year. And that wraps up the awards. I will tell you, I have a couple of hopes for WWE this year. One of the hopes is that I would love to see in one of the WrestleMania main event nights, I'd like to see the women back. We've had it twice. Of course, there was the Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey triple threat, and of course we had Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. So I would love to see the women in the main event. I definitely think they deserve to be there, not just to check off a box, but because they are incredible in some of the greatest matches that I've seen this past year. Like I said, you put Io Sky in there, it's going to be phenomenal. So that's one thing I would like to see. And the second thing I want to see is, can we get a title for Drew McIntyre? Can we just all agree that Drew McIntyre deserved to be a champion? Anyways, those are my awards for 2025. Let me know what you think. Again, jump into the comments and let me know. Please feel free to like this video. Feel free to subscribe. I'm going to have more content coming for you very soon. Take care. I wish you all the best for 2026, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.